A reading from Micah chapter 6, verse 8. What does the Lord require of you but to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? These words from the prophet Micah have been with us for thousands of years, but they are exceedingly relevant in the context of what is happening to us spiritually, socially, politically at this time in our history. Peaceful protests across our nation and throughout the world are calling for justice, whether it is justice in the face of law enforcement violence, systemic racism in the United States or other places, freedom from oppression in Hong Kong, standing up against gang violence in Central America. Wherever justice is needed, whenever justice is under attack, the people of God stand up and rise up. It is what God requires of us. Micah also tells us to love mercy. What kind of world would this be if everyone whom we encountered simply loved mercy? Loving mercy means we care about others. We care about the poor, those who do not have enough to eat, those in need of medical care, those who have no shelter. Mercy means we simply think everyone in this world is entitled to clean air and clean water, even if it means someone else doesn't make billions or trillions of dollars polluting God's earth. Loving mercy means we believe in dignity and freedom for everyone, not just a few. Isn't it interesting that Micah does not just tell us to practice mercy or promote mercy? He wants us to be passionate about mercy. So he tells us to love mercy. And when we understand what mercy can give to our lives and to our world, isn't it easy to love mercy? Finally, Micah simply tells us that God requires us to be humble. So I ask you the same question again. What kind of world could this be if every person whom we encountered was walking humbly with God? This requirement has no exceptions, whether you live in the White House or whether you are still using an outhouse. Humility is not an option. It is required by God and expected by God. Remind me someday to tell you about the lakefront cottage Teresa and I purchased many years ago in Pennsylvania that did not have indoor plumbing. Yes, it came with an outhouse. We have to ask ourselves what arrogance and pride have cost the world through the ages. How many families have been destroyed by arrogance and pride? How many towns and cities, nations and regions of the world could have known peace and prosperity, joy and happiness if humility had won the day in every heart and every home, every boardroom, every hall of government? How many wars would humility have avoided? Humility tells us we never try to dominate others. We only try to dominate our own worst impulses. The other thing humility controls is greed. Humility tells us early on when enough is enough. Humility tells us we do not deserve to take what belongs to others, to exploit others, to pillage the earth in order to have much more than we need to be happy and content and to make the world a better place. So I would simply suggest to you that the ancient wisdom of the prophet Micah gives us direction for today. When you ask yourself, how should I respond to current events, the burning issues and questions of our time, keep it simple. Remember first and foremost to act justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with your God. Amen.